especially in places of power and influence. We must always remember that there is a God who is a higher authority, who knows all and looks upon us all. May we be guided by your providence and strengthened by your common grace to fulfill your purpose for this nation. Because a lack of guidance causes a nation to fall, but victory is won through many advisors unwilling to produce ineffective results. O Heavenly Father, may we place you at the center of all we do. And so, God, give us the leaders and all of your people the affirmation of your will, and grant us the wisdom of Solomon, the courage of Esther, the patience of Jeremiah, and the humility of Mary. Let all be fulfilled in Jesus' matchless name. Amen. Amen.
To present the pledge, please welcome Purple Heart recipient, Army Ranger and Green Beret, and Vietnam War veteran, David Christian.
It gives me a great pleasure to be here today. Jim Worthington made sure I was here today. I'm here because of Dr. Oz. I fight suicide prevention. You hear the word 22 a day. 1 a day is too many. And I would like us all to turn. I'm going to turn backwards here and talk into the mic and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So as I turn around, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Hopefully you can hear me. Those with lids on, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Airborne.
To honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome Rachel Tresh.
Get my clip. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome the Mayor of Bensalem, Joe DiGirolamo.
Thank you. Welcome to Bensalem, everybody. This is Oz country. Wait. You guys have 1 week to bring everybody out to the polls, your family, your friends, and even the people you don't like, because they're going to vote for Oz this time around, guys. Oz is our kind of people in Bensalem. He wants to support the police, right? And our guys are out here tonight. They're always here with us. We have the greatest police force in the country, and that's because everybody supports them here in Bensalem. We need to keep that going throughout this country. We need a border wall for Bensalem there going across the creek. Philadelphia has great policemen, great people. But their politics, I don't want to say it, but it starts with an S. And we had to get on board, guys. We need a safe environment. Dr. Oz has pledged that. You've heard him say it over and over again. We are so fortunate to have him here tonight to talk to you so you understand what Oz is all about. The doctor is going to be to treat, how many people we have? 360 million patients that he's going to take care of in this country. And that's who we need. You've got to take this as serious as you can. We can't let this happen. Can you imagine if that other fella ever went to Congress? The good thing, we forgot his name. All right? So I need you. I can't emphasize enough to get out the vote. We had to get everybody out, guys. Your family, people, you got to talk to them, your friends. On the telephone, get them out, please. Please, because it's not, this that we're up here talking about, it's not for us, it's for all of you in this country. That's what this is about, this race. So we're going to win, we're going to be there, and with the help of everybody, go for Oz, Dr. Oz, Dr. Oz, Dr. Oz.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Republican Party of Pennsylvania Chairman Lori.
So this is a great crowd, and I don't want to diminish any of your enthusiasm. But I know for a fact we're going to win next Tuesday. But wait. But it's been divinely ordained. Any of you familiar with the book of Revelation? It says in any year in which the Philadelphia Phillies are in the World Series and the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated, Dr. Oz and the Republicans will win on November 8th. Hey, if you went to church on Sundays, you would have known that. Not that you have to, of course. Hey, I have some good news. I had a 52-page speech. I'm not going to give it. Today, finally, we won a major victory in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court today ruled that a ballot that is not dated or incorrectly dated is not to be counted in this election. No, I have to admit, I did not see that in the book of Revelation, but thank God anyway. And you know why else I think we're going to do well? First of all, today, the other guy running against Dr. Oz, he's defending his tattoos. That's his public policy position? And also, I think we all should owe a debt of gratitude to Joe Biden. We should encourage him to come back and come back more and more. He's pushed us up in the polls phenomenally. The guy is great. DeSantis has got him now in Florida. I called him. I said, give him back. We got to win. Look, I'm going to tell you, there is nobody in this room or in Pennsylvania that can say that we're better off under Fetterman, Shapiro, and Biden. No Republican, no independent, no Democrat. They can't say that. There's been choices have to have been made between eating and heating bills, between the crime that has now taken 174 violent incidents in Pennsylvania in just the last 7 days. I can't even walk my dog at night without bear spray can. I will end with this. You've got 1 week left. The message is simple. The Democratic Party has stopped working, and it's time for them to go. Mehmet Oz for the United States Senate. God bless you all.
Please welcome International Association of Firefighters, Philadelphia Local 22 President, Mike.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have any prepared remarks. I got to stay true to my profession. As you know, when the bell goes off for firefighters, we just get up and go. So I just want to say a few things. We reached out to Dr. Oz actually reached out to us down there in Philadelphia, Local 22. And by the way, we are the largest firefighters union in the state. So by default, we are the voice of firefighters in the state. We're also the fourth largest in the country firefighters union. So he came in and we voiced our concerns, our members' concerns, obviously. And one of the biggest ones that stood out was the opioid epidemic in the city. Our members are out every day, between 40 and 60 overdose cases a day. Our medics go out the door, they don't stop. It's so bad that they gave the police officers Narcan now to help with the matter. So last year we had 1,300 overdoses. It was a 150% increase over the 10-year period. So he heard our concerns, and actually that day he went up to the areas where it was at, and it's like third world countries down there. And there's no help from, we had a radical district attorney down there who he supports Dr. Oz's opponent, and I'll tell you this, our medics are out there on the front lines, and they get assaulted. We had approximately 50 assaulted, and the DA threw out the cases in 2/3 of them. So I'll tell you this. I was talking to your great mayor. I met him tonight also. He was talking about the putting a wall up along the border. I told him, hold up for right now because some of our members come up to the Acme to avoid the sugar tax. And I come out, and I actually can get a plastic bag up there, you know. So I'm just saying. So with that being said, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but get out to vote. And if you have any Fetterman friends or acquaintances, I have a few. I gave a couple of my friends a life ring, I said, because the red wave is coming next week.
Please welcome Bucks County Republican Committee Chairwoman Pat Poprick, State Representative Candidate Kelly Bellerby Allen, State Representatives Casey Tomlinson and Martina White, and Pennsylvania State Treasurer
Hello, Bucks! You can do better than that. Hello, Bucks! So I'm Stacey Garrett, your state treasurer, and it's so great to see all of you tonight. We have just 7 days left, and I have no doubt that we're going to get it done for Dr. Oz. Now, if you were to believe the nonsense on TV, with all of the lies flooding in through the airwaves, you would think that Dr. Oz doesn't have the support of Pennsylvania women. No. Of course, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Not only does Dr. Oz have the support of Pennsylvania women, in all 67 counties, women have become the backbone of the Republican Party. So I am so honored to be here today with so many strong, conservative women leaders who couldn't be more enthusiastic in their support for Dr. Oz. So let's take a few minutes to hear from the incredible women up here on stage with me.
Well, I'm loving here because this is my home county. Bucks County, thank you for coming out tonight. As the chairwoman of this party, we have done a lot of rallies and we've done a lot of things together. But I don't think any of us can remember an election in our lifetimes that was as important as this one. Never have our liberties and our rights been so encroached upon by a bunch of people that think they know better than you. They know what your schools should have and they know where you should shop. Well, you know what? That's going to stop. And you know where we're going to start that stop? Right here in Bucks County. We are the first on a rally tour. Dr. Oz is doing a tour, rallying around the state. We're the first. And I'm honored that we were chosen to be that because I wanted to show him what Bucks County would do for a candidate that they love. Look at this room. You all came out to vote for this man. So as we leave here tonight, we have a good rally. Take it out to the streets, fellas. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your friends. This party is about saving our country, this election. We have to do everything. We have to get Dr. Oz in that Senate, or we will never, ever have a government that we can live in freedom and liberty. So tonight, have fun. Phillies will win, but we're going to win for Oz, aren't we? Come on, Bucks County, we're going to win for Oz. Get them up. Yeah, that's it.
Hello, Lower Bucks. I'm Kelly Bellerby Allen, and I'm running for state representative in the 141st District. That's our local area here, Bristol Borough and Bristol Township. Got a couple people out here I see from that area. Right in the front there. I am so honored and so proud to not only be running on the Republican ticket, but also to be running on the same Republican ticket as Dr. Oz. Like everybody else is saying, we're doing our job up here. We need you all to do your job. Please go out, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, and tell your family to please come out and vote Republican on November 8th. Not only will we win, but we will also see the Phillies win.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bensalem Township. I have the privilege and honor to serve this great community. Representative Frank Farry, who's running for our state Senate seat, wanted to be here tonight, but unfortunately couldn't make it, so I will be speaking on behalf of both of us. First, I just wanted to take a moment to welcome and thank Dr. Oz for making a stop here in Bensalem. I know you've been beyond busy traveling the state, but we are so happy to have you. I think it's an important stop to make for sure here in Bensalem. As you heard, we border the city of Philadelphia. I was born and raised in this town, as well as my father, our current state senator, Tommy Tomlinson. We also have Jean DiGirolamo here, who's my predecessor. And I think I can speak for all of us when we say we have never seen crime sneak over the border the way it has these past few years. Nearly 50% of all arrests made in Bensalem are individuals from Philadelphia coming into our town and committing crime. Yeah. Thankfully, here in Bensalem, we have an amazing mayor, wonderful council, who make public safety a top priority, as well as our outstanding police department who fight to keep us safe every day. Let's give them a round of applause. They're here today with us. At the local, state, and federal level, we will continue to push back on the lawlessness we see right next door, which is why all of us standing up here have been endorsed by law enforcement. I cannot stress enough how important it is this upcoming election. I know most of us hear that every year, but specifically this year, it could not be more true. This is not just for our community, but our Commonwealth and our country. That is why I am standing before you today and asking each and every one of you to make calls, texts, speak to family and friends, and let them know just how important it is to get out and vote next Tuesday. Again, I would like to thank Dr. Oz for making Bensalem a priority stop.
Running in general is not easy. I can speak to that from experience, let alone running across the state. I believe his efforts are truly genuine and his commitment is evident. And for that, I thank you, Dr. Oz, and I look forward to you representing all of us in Washington, D.C. Take care, guys.
Good evening, everyone. I just really would like for everybody to give Casey Tomlinson a big round of applause because she is an awesome, awesome state representative. Yep. You have to, absolutely have to get out and vote for her November 8th on Tuesday. She's awesome. I'm proud to know and work with her out in Harrisburg. I currently serve as the House Majority Secretary on the leadership team out there, and I serve as a state representative from Northeast Philadelphia. And while our, all right. Yeah, so I'm actually the only Philadelphia Republican representing the city. But I'm very proud of it, and while our politics do leave much to be desired after over 60 years of Democrat one-party rule, which has only given us a nightmare of what you've already heard about crime sneaking over the border here in Bucks, among other things like an open-air drug market that you heard from our Philly firefighters, which I am so proud of all of their hard work across the city. Those guys, they get out there and they dig in every day. So please give them another round of applause too, okay? So it's a great honor to be here tonight with so many awesome people who are working to make a difference in our local communities. And by the way, I'm not talking about all the people up here on the stage. I'm talking about all of you. You are true leaders, and you are making a difference in our communities. You're making sure that people get out and vote, and that they vote straight Republican, because we're going to need every single one of them next Tuesday. So keep up the good work, okay? Here's one thing I know. I know for a fact that I could never support a guy who wants to let murderers and criminals out onto our streets. Yeah. We already have one of those in Philadelphia. Impeach Krasner, that's right. That guy's got to go. But, you know, John Fetterman, just the same. You know, he wants to bring those dangerous policies to Washington and to America, and we cannot afford to let that happen. I've always fought for our first responders, our veterans, and I know that there are people in this room who will do the same. I know that this room is full of people who love our country, cherish our freedoms, and want to ensure a bright future for all of us. So I know that Dr. Oz is going to be the guy who makes the difference. He's going to fight for working people like all of you and me. Thanks, everybody. Get out and vote.
So thanks, everyone. Let's give it up one more time for these incredible women. So listen, with Election Day so near, we need to focus. John Fetterman and the crazies who have taken over the Democrat Party want to put conservatism on trial. And you know why? Because they know they can't run on their own policies. And that's the underlying message of 2022. And the reason that Pennsylvania needs to vote Republican all the way down the ballot. That's right. So after 2 years of Bidenomics and total Democrat control in Washington, even the hardest ideologues, from left to right, want something that works. Because right now, it seems like nothing works. And the people of Pennsylvania and our country need conservative solutions. We need someone who can cure an ailing economy and get Americans walking upright and at full stride. The people of Pennsylvania need help, and I have very good news for you. The doctor is in the house. And it's our job to make sure that Dr. Oz becomes Senator Oz. Because I can promise you, a real conservative is a far better choice than the counterfeit common man the Democrats have put up. We need to elect a conservative senator whose first impulse is to stand for morality and common sense. Because not only are we the party of common sense, we're also the party of uncommon results. So think about this. In 1980, when our economy was stagnant, energy costs were going through the roof, the Iranian thugs were holding our diplomats hostage, we didn't turn to a liberal to get us out of the mess. We turned to Ronald Reagan. And everybody, even the Carter voters, ended up better off when Reagan took the helm. Time and again, the conservative cause has always been the solution. And that's why it's so crucial for 2022 to be a Republican year. We can't risk the lock-on power that liberals now hold. We can't risk more inflation. We can't risk going back to $5 gasoline. We can't risk more fentanyl deaths and violent crime. And we can't risk more American weakness abroad. We have one path forward and one chance to take it. We need a Republican sweep. And we need to make sure that Amendment Oz leads the way. So folks, let's have a plan for November 8th. Get out your family to vote. Get out your friends. Get out your neighbors. Let's finish the job for the people of Pennsylvania and the United States. Thank you.
Rock
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the owner of the Newtown Athletic Club, Jim Worthington.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the owner of Newtown.
Guys, we got 7 days. Imagine if I gave you the power to save your country, save your state. Every one of you in this room have that power, because Bucks County is the battleground. That's where this race is going to be won. We take home Bucks County. Dr. Oz is the next senator of Pennsylvania. We save this country. Make no mistake, if you guys put in the work, just like the other speaker said tonight, you go to everybody you know. You talk to family, friends. You make sure you leave here tonight. You either start texting them, you call them tomorrow. You tell them they have to vote next Tuesday. You then on Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you call every one of them. I'm telling you, this is how we win it. This is how we won the primary. It's a simple formula. You call everybody you know. You make sure they get there. We turn out more than they do. We win. Hands down, it's not even close. But you have to put the work in. You have to put the work in. Can you promise me you'll put the work in? This is it. 2 weeks ago, I was with the president, and I said to him, we didn't win in 2020, supposedly. We have 2 big races coming up. Can you imagine if we can't win with the most radical liberal candidate in the history of American politics, with the worst environment in the history of our nation? If we cannot win this election, what election could we win with a guy as great as Dr. Oz? What a candidate. So let me just tell you this. When Dr. Oz gets everybody's votes, he's going to take the whole state and everybody on the ballot underneath him, he's going to drag them to the victory line. He's going to pull them across the victory line, because that's how good he's going to do, and that's how important he's going to be to every single candidate, every state rep, every state senator, everybody that's running in the state of Pennsylvania. He is more important than just winning the Senate race. Everybody's counting on him. So again, you have to get the vote out. It's very important. Now let me tell you about the guy I'm here to announce tonight who's speaking next, who's a great friend of mine. In 2016, he came to my facility. I had an event. It was his first campaign stop. Congressman, at that time, Brian Fitzpatrick came. I walked him around a room similar to this, introduced him to probably 200 people. His first time campaigning. He had a successful brother, but he had to pave his own way. I walked him around, and since then he's won in 2016, 18, 20, and he's on the verge of winning again in probably a landslide in 2022. Now, let me tell you what Brian Fitzpatrick does for, what Dr. Oz does for the state, and what Brian Fitzpatrick is going to do for Dr. Oz. The chances are on election night, Brian Fitzpatrick is going to get 60% of the votes. You know why? He brings together everybody in Bucks County. And that's what Dr. Oz is going to do in the state of Pennsylvania, and that's what Brian does in Bucks County. He will be dragging everybody in Bucks County across the finish line behind him. Brian Fitzpatrick is a true hero, true American, great person. And I'll tell you, I'm proud to say I'm his friend. I know him and I don't always agree on everything, but that's the way politics is. And at the end of the day, he loves Bucks County as much as all you do and as much as I do, and that's why I love the man. I'm going to bring out Brian Fitzpatrick right now.
Good evening, everybody. So before we bring Oz out, because we want to get everyone back for the Phillies game, we got another heck of a team in the Eagles, huh? So I wanted to give Oz a way to fuse the fact that we root for one football team here in Bucks County and we go to one convenience store. I said, how do we get both of them together? Well, this is a shirt he's going to be wearing tonight. What do you say? Oh, show him the shirt. You're messing me up, Pat. What's going on over here? Anyway, there are several reasons why everybody in Bucks County, everybody in the state should be supporting Dr. Oz. The first is on policy. And we could go on and on about the policy. Let's start with the border. Every single one of us teach our children that if you work hard and play by the rules, you get ahead. And if you cheat and cut the line, you get punished. And we are all looking at what's transpiring on the southern border right now. We're seeing the exact opposite. Our kids are looking at what's going on the border, and they're seeing the exact opposite. We have people that are trying to get into this country the right way, the legal way, like so many people did through Ellis Island, the source of pride of American immigration. And everything is broken due to the choice of the far left. They know exactly what they need to secure the border, but they're choosing not to. Second is national security. We all saw what transpired in Afghanistan. I have not had a pit in my stomach since 9/11, the way that disastrous withdrawal was, regardless of how you feel about whether we should stay or leave. Nobody thought that we should leave that way, where we were disrespecting our American soldiers. Then let's get to the issue of crime. Without any enforcement, there is no law. Without any enforcement, there is no law. Our police officers across America are under assault right now. They are having a hard time not only recruiting new officers, they're having a hard time keeping the people they have. And this is what the far left wants, folks. They want to make law enforcement officers and the policing profession a demagogue, so that nobody does it, and then we have mass chaos in the streets. And lastly, inflation. This is a problem caused by politicians making poor decisions. This is not a phenomenon like a hurricane, okay? The definition of inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. So when you have far-left policies that discourage people from working, paying people to stay home, that causes supply chain disruptions because you don't have people to make the products or engage in the services. And that is on the supply side. On the demand side, you're pouring in massive amounts of cash to flood the zone, where even people like Larry Summers, Barack Obama's economic advisor, says this is insane. And then you have the far left scratching their head saying, how'd this inflation happen? Well, no kidding. You caused it. But the most important reason to support Oz is who he is as a person. I didn't know Dr. Oz before this campaign started. I got to know him because he came here to Bucks. He spent half a day with us. And I don't claim to be good at many things, but the one thing I think I am pretty good at is reading people and looking into someone's heart and looking into their soul. And I can tell you this is a good, decent, honorable man, Dr. Oz. And he's going to do a phenomenal... One of the most important qualities that I look for in somebody is when you talk to them, do they look you in the eye or are they looking over your shoulder to see if someone's more important? Do they not just listen to what you say, but do they feel what you're saying? He's got all those qualities. I don't know if he was born with them or if he generated them over the course of his career, but I can tell you he's got them. And I want to leave it with this before I bring Dr. Oz out. We are honored to live in the greatest country that God has ever created. The country... The country that has done more good for more people than any other nation ever has and any other nation ever will. And we just celebrated our 246th birthday. And that may seem like a long time, but that's not. 246 years is just a few generations. And yet, we are the world's oldest democracy. No democracy has survived on this planet for more than a few generations. And as human beings, we're all guilty of taking that for granted because we can't fathom waking up in a world where the U.S. dollar is not the world's currency standard, where the United States of America is not the world's military and economic superpower. But that can go away real quick. When Ben Franklin emerged from the Constitutional Convention in 1787, and the paperboy came up to him and said, "Sir, what kind of government have you given us?" He said, "A republic, if you can keep it." And he emphasized that second part, because while he was saying to this young courier, we just created this brand new system of government, a system that's never been tried anywhere on the planet. 3 separate branches, each co-equal to each other, each an independent constitutional check on the other, if you can keep it. He said it's up to you to keep it. And we've survived 246 years. I got to tell you, folks, if the far left have their way, I don't know how many more years we can survive. And that's why it is so, so important that we don't just be a vote, we be a voice, a loud voice for the next senator United States Senator from Pennsylvania, Dr. Mehmet Oz.
Lawrence, what a team we have. I'll tell you, life's about priorities. You all know that, right? That's why you moved this rally up. You might wonder why. We looked at the schedule. We knew the Phillies were playing tonight. And the person who holds me accountable, the biggest priority of my life, Lisa, is over there, my wife, Lisa. Hey, put your hand up, honey. Smartest thing I ever did in my life was to marry her 37 years ago in the house we live in now in Montgomery County. How many of you think that was true of your life? The smartest thing you did was to marry the person of your dreams? Running in this campaign has been a dream as well. I have got to meet so many wonderful people. And for me, a lot of the thought process went back to the fact that my dad, who was born on a dirt floor, was allowed to come to the greatest country in the world because we were welcoming immigrants who were working hard to make themselves better and to make our country better. And what he instilled in me was that we are the land of opportunity. We're the land of plenty. The American dream lives on. It's embodied in me and you, and all the things that we do are designed to take the wisdom that we had from our parents, that shiny baton they gave us, and make sure we pass it along with the family values and some of the deep-seated Pennsylvania insights that we have and can bring to the equation. That's why this election is so transformative. We have to make sure that who we are as Pennsylvanians is reflected in Washington. And it's important for a bunch of reasons, which I'll get to. But as I've traveled around the Commonwealth, I'll tell you, you want to be energized and excited about America? Go campaign in Pennsylvania. It's not just our sports teams, although I was watching the Eagles on Sunday. Oh, it hurts so good. People know what they want to do, and they're struggling. I've talked to seniors who don't see their Social Security checks stretching far enough with 40-year high inflation. I've talked to young couples who are trying to make that first down payment for a starter house, but the mortgage rates are too high now. Again, self-inflicted problems. I've talked to families in every part of the Commonwealth who fear what's in their mailbox because they know their kids can literally order pain pills which are laced with fentanyl that could kill them. 2 weeks ago here in Philadelphia, I was talking to a woman. She was in the very front row here, and she was teary-eyed, glassy-eyed. And so I called her up, and she told the story. If I asked it here, many of you would probably be able to identify somebody in your lives like what she told me, which was that her 32-year-old daughter, who had Lyme disease, was having pain, had ordered a pill. And she found her daughter blue and dead. That makes us a border state, because that fentanyl came across the border with a open border that initially started off as a human trafficking operation, making cartels a fortune, and these terrorist organizations are now running narcotics across our border. But when I hear this, it brings me to an emotional place, as you are as well, because we don't have to have this. It doesn't have to be this way. And I have a continuous struggle trying to figure out why Washington keeps getting it wrong. How many of you think Washington's getting it wrong? And I finally think I might have the diagnosis. Washington's getting it wrong because of the extreme positions that they're accepting of. And they need a dose of Pennsylvania reality. I want to go to Washington and bring balance. So you actually have the partisan bickering fall away, and we address the problems that are plaguing people in Pennsylvania and all around this beautiful country. Because when I travel around Pennsylvania, I don't hear people telling me to go beat up on Democrats. Heck, we're a purple state. Your neighbors are Democrats. And by the way, they're going to vote for us in this election. What I hear over and over again is go there and fix the problems. So what are those problems? Because in my campaign, I've tried to make it about the need for balance, about sensibility, about common sense. Now, in contrast that to my opponent, who continually takes the extreme positions. And I'm going to highlight three of them in particular. And I'm doing this for a reason. Because you're going to need to go out, as you've heard from many people up on the stage, and talk to 10 friends. And please don't pick hardcore Republicans. They're going to vote for us already. The hardcore Republicans, just make sure they vote. But I want you to go find independents and conservative Democrats, and there are lots of them in Bucks County. And the reason Jim Worthington is so correct when he says it all turns on Bucks is because there are a couple places like Bucks around the Commonwealth that are vital. You get people in Bucks to think that we have the right answer, the right diagnosis, the right treatment for the problems that ail Pennsylvania and this nation, and we win statewide. Because you're a microcosm of what's going on in our state. So you want to call people in the middle. You're going to call out 3 things. Don't get distracted with anything else. Everything else that's thrown at us by the far left fringe elements of the Democratic Party are distraction. They're specifically designed to pull you off your message, which is there are 3 problems we're facing. Problem number 1, and I'm a professor, so I'll say these a couple times. You don't have to take notes, but you only know them. The first problem is the economy. Now, the inflation is a self-inflicted wound. The taxes that they're now throwing at us are to make up for the fact they weren't willing to make the tough decisions about the spending. And John Fetterman, when he raised taxes as mayor, when he argued to raise taxes 46% as lieutenant governor for the state, and when he supported the Biden tax increase that just recently happened, he did all that, not willing to acknowledge that he hadn't paid his own taxes 67 times. It's easy to raise taxes when you're not paying your own. But taxes are a problem that imposes pain on people already struggling with inflation they can't manage. So we got the economy. Number 2 is crime. Mike Bresnan, the firefighter, you heard him here. That guy's out of Central Casting, isn't he? I mean, I tell you, some of these folks I've been so blessed to meet. And when I was endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, which was one of the greatest honors for me, because these folks are running towards the crises. The firemen are as well, the state patrollers. And you go talk to, Mick Nesby, who runs the Philadelphia FOP, and I got the statewide endorsement. It was unanimous. You know how hard it is to get hundreds of police leaders to make a unanimous vote for a candidate? It's tough. But here's why it happened. They know I have their back. And they're sick and tired of far-left political leaders not supporting them. And the reason that comes, as I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. I went to med school, as you know, went to graduate school in Philly, lived in West Philly. I could walk to school. I rode my bike. It wasn't a problem. Parents can't let their kids go outside. They tell me they buy video games for them now. It's too dangerous. Up in North Philly, I did a prayer vigil. The pastor said it's easier for him to buy fentanyl than baby formula. Are you kidding me? And the police aren't being supported, so they're retiring in high numbers, and we can't recruit more. So the solution is let people do their jobs, which is what I want to do. Let police do their jobs, fund them. And all of us here in this part of Pennsylvania say the same thing, which is we don't want to be part of a social experiment, right? Do the things that make sense. Let the policemen do their jobs, make the prosecutors do their jobs, let the political candidates do their jobs, like answer your questions, deal with the issues, talk to the media, all the things I've been pushing John Fetterman to do. We finally had a chance on the debate stage, but the real issue for me, the real issue is you have to defend your positions. That's what this is about. You're allowed to have your own opinions, but you got to defend them. The third place that John Fetterman and I differ because he's taken pretty strong stances about wanting to release people convicted of murder by a jury, sentenced to life in prison, and he wants them to be released over the objections of other parole board members and the families, right? Why do you feel that way? Why do you want to legalize all drugs? That's the third thing today, drugs and the border. When you know that it's been done already. Oregon actually did this experiment. Fetterman supported it. 50% increase in homicide rates. 50% increase. That's a big number, right? So I don't want to do this little experiment and then have people pay with their lives. But what we do know for sure, and this is my pledge to you, is all 3 of these problems are addressable. Now listen, as you know, I'm not a politician. I'm a heart surgeon. You know what heart surgeons do? We get together, we unify, we don't divide, and we focus on a big problem, in particular, your heart, which we only get one shot to fix right. And then we make sure we're laser focused and we get it done. That's what I pledge that I'll do. I'll unite us, I'll bring balance, and I'll address the challenges that we're facing. Now, the problem that we're going to run into is that a lot of people are going to get confused by all the messaging. So your job is to highlight what are the three things? The economy, crime, and the border, right? Three things. Don't talk about other stuff than that. You don't need to. Those are the three issues, the kitchen table issues that everyone's worried about. Talk about what concerns voters, and they'll come over to us. Then you're going to come back with one last question. One last question, and here it is. Simple, straightforward, and you got to just make your own mind up about the answer in your own heart. Here's the question. Are you happy with where America's headed? If your friends say yes, take their car keys away. They shouldn't be driving. But if, like me, you say no, that we're unhappy, we're concerned, we love this country, it's given us so much opportunity, we'll do whatever it takes to fix it. And we will work across the aisle with folks who don't share all of our opinions to find common places to address the challenge we face. Then we're on the same page. And what I pledge to do is to believe in the things that you believe in. I believe in the American dream. I believe we are the land of opportunity, the land of plenty. I believe we can actually have a budget that works and help people in need without recklessly spending our children's money and causing 40-year high inflation that leads us to have more taxes. We don't want that. I believe we can have all of the above energy policy because it's better for the environment. To protect our heritage, we have to make sure we are clean in what we do, and natural gas does that. And there are many things we can do with that resource we have beneath our feet here in Pennsylvania that can power the nation for 200 years. I believe, yes. Philadelphia will be a wealthy city if we can bring natural gas and export it from here. Tens of thousands of high-quality trade jobs, billions of revenue. The taxes will help us build back the beautiful city that is the city of brotherly love and that we all adore. It's a city that we have to help, and it will be an affluent city if we're allowed to do what makes sense for the planet, for the environment, and the people overseas who are struggling right now. I believe that we can have a secure border, but allow legal immigration, the kind that my dad was able to take advantage of, right? And many of your parents as well, and bring high-quality people who want to work their tails off legally into this country. I believe that we can have safe city streets. I believe that we can let parents choose the schools that their kids go to, so everyone has an even chance of being educated. I believe we can have affordable care, so we have all access to the health that we need. And most importantly, I believe in you. And together, we're going to make this happen. God bless you all for being here. Thank you very much.